Have you ever found yourself lying awake long after the lights go out, listening to the silence and wondering why sleep feels just out of reach? You're not alone in that quiet struggle. And for many older adults, especially women living alone, those sleepless nights can feel endless and unsettling. So here's a gentle but important question. Could the answer to better sleep be hiding in your kitchen? Tonight we're going to talk about something surprisingly simple, yet powerful. We'll explore 3 late-night snacks that might help ease your body into restful sleep, using what we know from science, nutrition, and everyday life. And no, these aren't complicated recipes or expensive health fads. They're humble, easy-to-find foods that, when used thoughtfully, may make a real difference in your sleep. I'll walk you through how they work, the risks of ignoring your body's cues at night, and what real studies say about these foods. Along the way, I'll share practical tips, and by the end, you'll have gentle, clear guidance you can start using tonight. So let's begin right where many of our nights do, somewhere between feeling tired and not quite able to drift off. Let's talk about food and sleep, and how a small change on your plate can ripple out into a better night, a better morning, and maybe even a better life rhythm. We'll begin with the first snack, and it might surprise you. The first one is chickpeas. Yes, chickpeas, or if you prefer the creamy version, hummus. Now, this may not be the kind of comfort food you think of late at night, but here's what makes chickpeas so valuable for sleep. They're naturally rich in something called tryptophan. Tryptophan is an amino acid your body uses to make serotonin, a calming brain chemical, and melatonin, which signals to your brain that it's time to rest. That means eating chickpeas can help set the stage for the sleep process to begin, without medication, and without forcing your body. But here's the part many people don't realize. Your body doesn't just need tryptophan. It needs help turning it into the brain chemicals that support sleep. That's where vitamin B6 comes in. And chickpeas, like a quiet multitasker, contain both. Now let's talk about what happens when this process doesn't work well. As we age, our natural melatonin levels drop. It becomes harder to fall asleep, stay asleep, or feel rested even after a full night in bed. For older women, especially post-menopause, hormonal shifts can add another layer of sleep disruption. And that's why a snack like hummus, eaten about an hour before bed, may gently support your body's sleep rhythm. Not by knocking you out, but by nourishing your internal clock. Here's a real example. A geriatric nurse once shared that in a retirement community she worked with, they offered a small snack tray at 8 p.m. A few residents preferred something savory, and hummus with crackers became a favorite. After a few weeks, she noticed a trend. The same women who chose hummus regularly began reporting fewer nighttime awakenings. It wasn't magic. It was simply a food-based routine that supported their biology. So if you enjoy hummus, or even roasted chickpeas as a light crunchy snack, this could be a nourishing, natural way to wind down. Let's move gently to the second snack. This one comes not from the pantry but the fruit bowl. It's kiwi. Now, kiwi may not be the fruit you reach for most often. It's small, a bit fuzzy, and often tucked beside bananas or apples at the store. But what it holds inside is surprisingly powerful. Kiwi is rich in serotonin, the same calming chemical that tryptophan helps produce. But kiwi brings it to you directly, along with a host of vitamins like C, E, and K, which support overall health, immune balance, and inflammation control. A study published in a scientific journal followed adults with sleep difficulties. The participants ate 2 kiwis every night, 1 hour before bedtime. Within 4 weeks, the results were noticeable. They fell asleep faster, slept longer, and reported better sleep quality. Now that may sound like a small thing, but if you've ever laid awake counting minutes on the clock, you know how precious an extra 30 minutes of deep sleep can be. But there's something else about kiwi that matters. It's light. It won't upset your stomach. It doesn't spike your blood sugar like cookies or ice cream, and it gives you hydration, antioxidants, and that gentle serotonin boost. For older adults who take medications, especially ones that already cause drowsiness or interact with the digestive system, kiwi is a friendly choice, simple, whole, and gentle on the body. One older woman living alone after her husband passed shared that she started a new evening habit. She'd slice up 2 kiwis, turn off the TV, and sit quietly with soft music. It became her signal to slow down. Over time, she no longer needed melatonin gummies or tea, just 2 kiwis and her breath. So, next time you're at the store, Maybe let your hand hover just a little longer over the green fuzzy fruit. It may offer more than you expect. Now we come to the third snack. And this one might feel like a little luxury. It's tart cherry juice. Not the sugary cocktail kind, but the kind made from Montmorency cherries. These bright red cherries are one of the few natural food sources known to contain melatonin, and not just a trace. One clinical study involving older adults found that those who drank a glass of tart cherry juice twice daily experienced significant improvements in total sleep time. Some gained over an hour of extra sleep. That's no small thing when insomnia has become a nightly visitor. But it's not just the melatonin. Tart cherries also contain antioxidants that may help reduce inflammation, a common sleep disruptor in older bodies dealing with arthritis, chronic pain, or metabolic changes. A woman in her late 60s shared that after years of broken sleep due to hip pain, she tried cherry juice on the advice of a physical therapist. It didn't make her pain disappear, but she noticed her nights became less interrupted. Instead of waking up every hour, she began sleeping in longer stretches. Cherry juice isn't a cure-all, but in a world where sleep medications often come with risks, memory issues, or dependency concerns, it can be a gentle food-based ally. And there's something soothing about the ritual. A small glass sipped slowly becomes part of the transition, from day to night, from alertness to ease. That brings us to something worth pausing on. It's not just the food, it's the rhythm. Your body craves predictability, warmth, repetition. The right snack taken at the same time each evening can become a cue to your nervous system. It's time to settle. So whether it's hummus on a small cracker, slices of kiwi, or half a cup of cherry juice, these aren't just snacks. They're gentle tools, simple signals, and for many lifelines to better rest. We've covered the basics of how each snack supports your sleep from a physiological point of view. But there's something deeper worth exploring. Why food and sleep are so intimately connected, especially in our later years. How our routines shape not only our nights, but our sense of safety and peace. We'll continue that thought, right where we're leaving off, because there's more to say and more to feel as we journey through the second part together. As we grow older, the relationship between what we eat and how we sleep becomes even more important and more delicate. In our younger years, a late dinner or skipping meals might not have disrupted much. But now our bodies respond differently. The internal clock becomes more sensitive. Hormone levels shift. Digestion slows. Even small choices, a bite too late, a drink too sweet, can tip the balance between rest and restlessness. That's why the idea of nourishment as a sleep tool matters so much, especially for those living alone. Without someone beside you to say, "Time to eat," or "Let's wind down," our routines must become more intentional. That's not a burden. It's an opportunity to create new rhythms that truly support us. We've already explored 3 sleep-supportive snacks. But let's dig a little deeper. Not to add more food, but to understand the why behind how they work, and how to truly integrate them into daily life. Because at the heart of it, these aren't just snacks. They're signals. Signals to your nervous system, signals to your habits, and signals to your mind that says, "It's safe now. You can let go." Let's take a moment to reflect on what happens when sleep is poor. Sleep deprivation isn't just about feeling tired. For older adults, it affects nearly every system in the body. It weakens the immune system. It increases the risk of heart disease and stroke. It worsens memory, mood, and balance. And perhaps most quietly, it chips away at emotional resilience, the ability to greet the day with steadiness and peace. There's also a loneliness that deepens at night, especially when sleep doesn't come. The world goes quiet, but your mind does not. Thoughts grow louder. And without the anchor of good sleep, even small anxieties can grow sharp edges. That's why even something as simple as a bedtime snack chosen with care can become a kind of self-kindness. A way of saying, "I matter enough to prepare for rest." Now, how do we turn this idea into practice? The first step is consistency. Eating the right thing but at the wrong time can still disrupt sleep. So whatever snack you choose, build it into a ritual. Maybe every night at 8:30, you slice your kiwis and pour your cherry juice. You sit by the window. You breathe. You slow down. This regularity trains your body to expect rest. Not through force but through rhythm. The second step is lightness. Heavy meals, rich desserts, or anything too spicy close to bedtime can interfere with digestion, leading to heartburn or bloating. Your body ends up working when it should be resting. That's why each of these snack ideas is light enough to signal nourishment, but not enough to weigh you down. The third step is to think beyond just food. Pair your snack with something calming. Soft music, a warm compress, gentle stretches, a small journal to write 3 things you're grateful for. When these pieces come together, the body begins to associate the whole experience with safety and sleep. One woman shared her routine after years of struggling with insomnia. She'd prepare her hummus and crackers, then dim the lights. She'd place a lavender pillow on her bed and listen to the same instrumental song each night. She said, "It's not the food that puts me to sleep. It's the way it reminds me that the day is done." And there's a kind of wisdom in that. Food doesn't fix everything, but it can support the body. It can comfort the spirit. And when done with intention, it becomes part of a larger practice of honoring rest, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Let's take a moment now to touch on something important: safety. Many older adults, especially those living alone, worry about taking medications for sleep. Concerns about side effects, memory fog, falls, or dependency are very real. And while medications have their place, they're not the only answer. These food-based strategies offer a gentle, low-risk approach, and for many, they become the first step toward reclaiming better nights. But food works best when it's part of a bigger picture. So here are a few more things you can do, in harmony with your evening snack, to encourage deeper sleep. Keep your room dark and cool. Even a small nightlight or warm temperature can interfere with melatonin production. Cut off caffeine by early afternoon. Coffee, black tea, even chocolate, all can stay in your system longer than expected. Create a wind-down window. At least 30 to 60 minutes before bed, disconnect from screens. Let your body shift from alertness to ease. Try not to nap too late in the day. A short nap after lunch can be restorative, but too long, too late, and it might delay your bedtime. And finally, talk kindly to yourself at night. Some of the hardest sleep struggles don't come from the body, they come from the mind. If you find yourself lying awake, try to replace frustration with curiosity. What might your body be asking for? Comfort? Calm? A gentler transition into sleep? These moments are not failures. They're invitations to listen more closely. Now I want to leave you with one last story. A retired teacher, living alone after her partner passed, began struggling with sleep in her late 60s. She tried the usual things, herbal teas, meditation apps, but nothing seemed to help. Then she saw a talk about the role of nutrition in sleep. Skeptical but curious, she started with one small habit: eating 2 kiwis at the same time every night. Within 2 weeks, she wasn't just falling asleep faster. She was waking up with more energy, more clarity. But more than that, she felt proud. Because she had done something kind for herself. And that feeling stayed with her through the night. So maybe that's the real gift of this conversation. It's not just about food or sleep. It's about remembering that no matter your age, your body still listens, still responds to care. It still deserves rhythm, warmth, and rest. And you have the power to offer that, not by overhauling your life, but by choosing one small thing to begin with. So tonight, maybe it's a few slices of kiwi, or a small bowl of hummus, or a few sips of cherry juice before the lights go low. Whatever you choose, let it be your signal, your invitation, your gentle reminder that you are worthy of rest. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to know, what's your favorite nighttime snack? Have you found any simple rituals that help you sleep more deeply? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you know someone who might be struggling with sleep, perhaps this could gently help them too, so feel free to share this video. And if you'd like more gentle guidance like this, you're warmly invited to subscribe. We're building a kind, thoughtful space here for rest, for health, and for one another. Until next time, sleep well. You deserve it.